recording. All right, so hi everyone. So this is the project we're going to be working on. It's a 4x4 mini album page, and it's one of those things that you use for when you participate in a mini album swap. And it's just a fun way to create something that has multiple pockets in it. So you'll see it has a pocket right here. And I know for you guys that are watching it now, I'm just repeating stuff, but I want you to be able to see it when you watch it again. So, and then the back has just this little pocket here that's covered by this little ribbon. Once you open up the ribbon, you'll get an accordion fold little pocket, and it has these three mini albums in here, and they're mini envelopes, and then you can fit a little tag in here, and then on this flap you can also add some photos. So lots of real estate. Yeah, everyone's on spring break. That's awesome. In Texas we don't get spring break till we got spring break last week, so that's why it's been kind of quiet, but that's okay. I like quiet. So I'm gonna switch the cameras so I can show you how I'm gonna make it. So let's switch cameras. Okay, so these are the papers I'm going to use. It's just I don't even know who makes this paper. It's Gardner Studios, and it's just a travel themed paper. I think I'll zoom out a little bit because I think I'm a little too close. Let's see. This thing. Okay. And let's just adjust it a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So I don't know if I told you guys, my paper trimmer fell apart on me this week. I was so upset. Oh my goodness. It's like my favorite, and I don't know what happened to it. It just broke. So I've been a little disappointed. I sent the note to the company to see if I can get it replaced because I haven't had it not even for a couple months. So the base of the mini album is a 4x4, so I'm just going to cut a strip of paper in 4x4. We'll move this over to the side. Hey Cindy, thanks for joining. We're just working on a really quick mini album page. I don't know how quick it is because I didn't cut any of the stuff beforehand. So you're kind of seeing me work as I go. So right now I just cut out the base, right? So this is the 4x4. And then I had already pre-cut my chipboard. That's the only thing I pre-cut. And this is just going to cover it like that. And then we'll cut another strip from here for the backing because I like putting a different color on the front and the back. That's a personal preference. Again, you can use the same paper consistently throughout. Doesn't make a difference. As long as you love it, that's all that matters, right? And then we're just going to cut this like this. So 4x4. So are you guys working on anything fun today? Okay, so here we go. We have that one and this one for the back. And normally I would use my Hallmark acid-free glue. You know what? I probably will use it anyway. Let's see. I just don't want to get glue all over the place right now. Let's just use it. It works really, really well for mini pages, so I might as well do it right from the start. I was just going to do a shortcut, but okay. So all I do is just put a little glob of glue. And what I love about this glue is that if you position it, the tip right on your page, and you just squeeze out, you don't get big old globs. You get these really nice little streams. And I don't know if you guys have heard Tracy from Helmar say it. There's like a little tool that we use, and I think I found mine and I lost it again. I wish you guys could see my room. Actually, no, I don't, because it's a chaotic disaster. It's really quite sad. So I'm just going to put the page on top like this. Let's clean that off. So you see, it's on there perfectly. I didn't even have to, mess with the edges or anything. They're all nicely sealed. So just flatten it out. And then, let's see, there's a little bit of excess, so I'm going to cut that off. So then I don't have to file it and do all of that fancy stuff. I know some folks like filing their mini albums on the edges. I just trim it because I think it works just as well. Okay. You can remember the username and password you used? Aw. Well, I'm glad you found it. I know that you can watch the Ustream without logging in, but then you can't chat, and that's not fun. So I'm just gluing the back again, like this. And because it doesn't have those big old globs coming out, I kind of just go back and forth, just kind of spreading it. That's why I don't feel that I really need my little spreader, because the tip of this works really well to do the gluing on here. Hey, Vanessa. So just putting the back on here like that. And there's a little bit of excess again. Let's just trim it. These usually go by really quickly once you're doing them. Thanks, Vanessa. It's just a really fun and easy project. I know a lot of folks have really gotten into the participating in tag swaps and mini swaps. So I just wanted to give you some kind of how I do it. And then I just do, rather than doing all of the filing along the edges, I just ink it up, because you guys know that I like to ink everything up. So this one I'm just going to ink lightly because I don't want it to be over vintagey. Because you think the paper is really fun. It's already kind of distressed, and I love that. Because normally I would take my acrylic paint dabbers and I'd kind of just dab on it, or put some, what do you call it? Some Lindy Stamp Gang on it to give it some shimmer. But this is just, the paper worked out really well, so it kind of gives me a shortcut. I don't have to work too hard on this one. I'm so glad you guys are joining me this morning, because I know Saturdays are hard. I know folks have kids, and I do too. And I actually have to run to the post office, so I'm not going to be on too long, but I'll be on long enough to hopefully work you through the whole project. So then I'm just going to take my my Martha Stewart, what is this called? I forgot what this thing was called. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, help me out. There you go, scoring board. And I cut a strip of red paper, and this is what I'm going to be using for this accordion little pocket that we have here. So just like that. Yeah, I love my scoring board. So basically all I did was I took an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, right? So this is 8.5, and then I just cut the width to be the size of the pocket. So my pocket's going to be 3.5 inches, and then I just need an 8.5 inch length that'll fit perfectly within this this mini album. So I'm just gonna open it up because I don't remember the exact dimensions, because this is one of those things that when I make them I kind of just play with it. Okay, so what I did for this one was I began my first score mark at 3.25 inches, right? So 3.25 is my first score mark. Then what I did was I turned it around, and then again I scored at 3.25. So you'll see that now I have this 3.25 flap on the front, 3.25 on the back, and then we have the space here. So what are we going to do with that? What we're going to do is we're going to score on every 1/4 inch mark. So once you've done the 3.25 on one side and flipped in and done 3.25 on the other side, you're just going to focus on this little center flap that's here and score at each 1/4 inch mark. So score at each 1/4 inch mark. So in this case, the first mark was at 3.25, then 3.5, 3.75, 4. So you guys get it. It's just all of the 1/4 marks up until you get the next break, which is your front flap. So like that. So you guys can see it. Now we have this flap that's going to be our front, this flap that's going to be our back, and this is just going to be the little accordion in the middle. So the first thing I do is I fold on the second score line, because this is my front flap, and when you guys saw the other one, I like for this thing to fold down towards the front. So instead of folding it away from me on the first score mark, I fold on the second. So we're going to fold on the second like that, and then we'll just keep folding it towards and away. So just basically your typical accordion fold. And you can score, you can crease it really well as you go. It's super easy to do. So like that, and like this. Okay. So you'll notice on the back as well, I kept folding up until the very last mark. So on the back, I also have that one little flap that if I wanted to, I can fold over. So on the front, it folds like this. And if you wanted to see, you can see that there's that little accordion there. So really easy. And then now we're just going to start building on this. So did you guys kind of follow how I did that? I have a couple of scraps here from when I made the other one, so I'm just going to use these. Okay, good. Here goes that. And let's see, what size did I cut these at? I cut it at 1, 2 and 7/8. So basically I cut it up until the mark where it's the one little tab, the one little dash right before the 3. So 2 and 7/8, and I think I did a square, so I'll try doing the 2 and 7/8 again and see if that works. Yep, that works fine. Hey, Lily. So this one I'm just gonna again ink, because you guys know I don't like white edges, and I feel like a broken record when I say that, but I'll ink that up, and I'm gonna use my tape runner just to adhere this little piece of paper to the front of this little fold. So I kind of just put it, oh, maybe I should put it in the right direction, right in the middle like that. So now we're already starting to build on this. So we have, here goes our little mini page, right? And then this is the thing that's going to go on front. My little chipboard's a little crazy. Okay. And then this is what I use for the pockets inside. They're these little coin envelopes. I ordered them from my office supply store. You can pretty much get them anywhere. And I'm just going to cut these in half. So I don't remember what the measurement is. So this is 5 1/2. So I think I cut it at 2 3/4 maybe. Let's see. Yep, 2 3/4 is what I cut it at. And I'm just going to move this to the side because I don't think I'm going to need my scoreboard anymore for this particular part of it. Like I said, I'm kind of just working through it because we had a dinner to go to last night and I didn't have a chance to pre-cut anything, but that's okay. This works well. So I cut it in half, so those are 2 pockets, and you'll see once you seal this little flap down, you have this little inner pocket, right? And then we'll cut one more. So 2 3/4. And we'll have an extra one, but that's okay because we can use that for another project at another time. And we can seal it with, we could just seal the back because it is just an envelope. What did I do? But I just put some Helmar adhesive on there just to close it up. Ah, I broke my tape runner. Okay, let me just go grab another one. What did I do with them? It was all done, so I kept I kept rolling over too far. Good thing I have some right here on my desk. So you see how easy these things are to swap in and out. And then we're ready to go again. Oh, my puppy's decided that he wants to talk to us now, so he's starting to bark. Hope he doesn't drive you guys crazy. All right, so now we have these, and all we're gonna need are 3 of them. And let me just clean up a little bit so you guys can just see what we're doing with this. So here go the 3, and then I'm just gonna grab a couple of little scrap pieces of paper that I have here. Let's see. Let me check if I have some other scraps from the other day in my book. No, not really. Those are too small, so we'll cut again. And these, let's see what I cut these at. I cut these at, again, 2 7/8 by 2 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6/8. Okay, so a weird size, but it'll have to work. So 2 7/8 by 2 6/8. And again, you don't really have to go by the sizes that I'm going with. It's just go kind of look at your paper and see what works best for you. You're not going to be using the same envelopes all the time, so just as long as it fits and there's a little bit of space around it, you should be okay. So again, I'm just going to ink this up, and I'm going to use this one for one of them. I'll put this one in the back because I don't want it to be too close to the same image on the front. And then I'm going to use this polka dot one like that. Oh, cool. Hey, Martha. And we'll use this one too. So for this, super easy. All I did is I'm just going to go ahead and glue these on here. Like this. So we're just covering up the front of the coin envelopes. Again, if you like the look of the coin envelopes, you don't even have to cover them up. You could just leave them as is. I happen to like them, so let's see. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to put next. I love when papers are double-sided. I know sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but then you get more choices, which is fun. So we'll put that one there, and then we'll put this one here, like this. So now we have these 3, right? Hey, Annie. How I cut the envelopes? It's just these coin envelopes, and I think, guys, remind me, what size was it? Well, we'll measure it. Let's see. 2 3/4. It's just a whole envelope, and I cut it at 2 3/4, so it's just cut in half. Really simple. And then you can, once you close the flap, then you'll have 2 pockets. So 2 little pockets. And then now you see that I have this little, I put this little paper on the front, and I have this flap. So what I do is I take a half, what is this, a 1-inch circle punch, and then I just insert it like this. And all I want to do is I want to cut like a little tab inside here. And there goes my little tab. Really easy. So like I said, this comes together really, really quick. And there goes the second one. And now we'll cut a third one. Okay, so now we have these three, right? Then the next thing is actually really easy to do. You know what? I want to put, we'll glue this on here. What I do is I take one of the first coin envelopes and I adhere it to the back. You can do it that way. You don't have to. You can put it in one of the accordions. I just find it easier just to make sure that it doesn't fall off to put it on the back. So I'm just going to put it back here like this. And this is going to be our first pocket, right? Then the next thing I do is I take my Hallmark quick dry adhesive, and this works really well and usually works really, really fast. One of the things that I find is because, you know, accordions expand and contract, right? So there's always this flexibility on here. So when I'm gluing it on, I like putting some weight on it to make sure that it dries perfectly and I don't need to hold it with my hands. So if you're working on any project that doesn't have, you know, all that resist, this will glue really quickly, but because I'm going to, I want to make sure that this doesn't fall apart on me. You see, because you see how it's not very stable, right? I'll glue it and then I'll put a little bit of weight on it just to make sure it's fine. So the first thing I do is I just take the Hallmark 450, and here goes my first little accordion fold, right? I want to close that one off. I don't need that one because this time I decided to put my coin envelope in the back, right? So that flap is going to be closed. And then you have 1 and 2 more accordion folds, right? Let's just put a little bit more glue there. And I'm just going to put a little glob of glue in there in the other two. So if you've done it the right way, you should have the back fold, you should have the 2 little accordions in the middle, and then you should have the one that's the front flap. And then we're going to take one of our pages and we're going to put it in the first of the back folds, and then we're going to put the other one in the front fold, right? And then we're just going to take it and we're going to squeeze it. At this point, I probably would just sit here and hold it, right? Because it does, again, like I said, it's Hallmark 450, so it works really, really well. And you see, it's not like, you know, ending with me to. Someone just opened the garage and the wind blew my door, so sorry if it sounded like someone slammed the door. But you see, now it's in there, so it's kind of perfect. You just need to let it dry. So I'm just gonna put it over to the side, and what I do is, you guys saw me do this project last week. My little wood thing just holds it down until it dries perfectly. Okay, so now I'm gonna take and start working on the other side of the page. So you know, the other side of the page was basically just this little pocket again. Oh, and there we go. Remember I had an extra little piece of paper, of envelope? We can use this for this pocket in the front, and that's why I used it, because again, I was wondering, well, what was I going to use with that piece of paper? And I forgot, of course. So let me take out my my nestabilities, and I'll cut out the piece that's going to go on the front. So for that, I'm just going to go ahead and use my Sizzix, and this is the Big Shot. And since I'm using the nestabilities, this cutting mat, you use exactly as is. You just cut on top of the tab 2. So we'll put tab 2 here. We'll put one of our cutting mats there. And now let me go find my nestability, which is in this drawer. Yeah, it's super easy to do that little accordion pocket. That's why that's why I wanted to show you guys, because I know sometimes we see things and we're like, oh, you know, I can never do that. It's so hard. And it's not. It's so easy. Sometimes we just need to, you know, practice with it for a little bit, but it's not super difficult. The biggest part of it is making sure that, you know, that you use an adhesive that's going to hold it down really well. And the 450 works perfectly. So, and I'm going to just cut this. The nestability that I'm using for this is almost a 4x4. So I'm just going to cut a piece of 4x4 paper. Again, this is where your scraps work really well. So we're just going to put our nestability down. And in this case, I'm using just this little scalloped border. And we'll put our paper on top. And our plate. And how do we do this? Okay, this way. You guys know I'm left-handed, so sometimes I get, and you see that little crack? That just means it's working. And then, I don't know if you guys know, but you can cut chipboard with your nestability. So if, let's say, for example, this was chipboard, you would just run it back, and that would be perfect. So you see, this comes out, and believe it or not, sometimes I use these, but today I'm going to just throw it out because I actually have a bunch of them laying around everywhere. And then it just pops out really nicely. Then sometimes the little, you know, these little things stay inside, but see, super easy. So that's why I love my Big Shot, because I don't have to plug it in and start deciding where I have my, you know, where's that shape and that kind of stuff. So I love using it. I just wish I had more. You have to go shopping and more of the, you know, the dies to use. So I'm just gonna ink it up again because this paper has kind of like a white core. And I don't know if you guys know, but I mean, Tim Holtz distressings come in every single color of the rainbow. If you didn't want to use the browns and you just wanted to color the core with different color, you could use this one. I have tumbled glass. I love it, but I don't use it very often. But I could have very well used it for this, and it would have just complemented it and not been a completely different color. So, okay, here's the biggest part, and this is kind of one of my pet peeves when it comes to mini swaps. Some people do such amazing, amazing work, and I'll show you an example of some amazing, amazing work that I got recently, but that there's no space to put anything. There's no way to bind your album, so it turns out into just a cute little project. So for example, I got this gorgeous mini page. Look at all the details on it, these gorgeous beads and all of these gorgeous charms and this fun, you know, flips. But how am I going to bind this to my mini album? Because the idea is that you're supposed to be able to take all of the 6 pages that you get in the swap and turn it into one fun and whimsical album. But how do I bind it without ruining this beautiful heart, right? And then on the back, same thing. There's a spine, but there's no place for me to bind it. So if I want to bind it, I probably would have to end up doing it sideways, but that's not the way that the album was laid out, right? You see, it's not supposed to look this way. It's supposed to be this way. So this is my pet peeve. When you're doing mini album swaps or anything like that, always leave a space on the side. Keep in mind that your layout needs to have space so that folks can bind this. That's really, really important, I think. So we're going to try to maintain, you know, and stick to that rule with this. So I'm just going to put this on here, and I'm going to put it as far to the right as I can, right? And then remember, when you turn it around, when you put your pocket on the back, you have to make sure that you leave the space on the exact same side. So actually for this one, the way that I created it, I want this side to be where the binding goes, so I'm going to put it all the way to the left. So you see, now I have this space here, and then when I turn it around, I put my pocket. I need to make sure I have space here so that it binds really, really well. Tell me more about them and how do you join? There's a bunch of them, Martha. I participate in one by Carla001. She does like a monthly one, and remind me, and I'll send you a personal message with the information. She also does one with Marion Smith, and I think it's called Artsy Addicts, and that's the one that I participated in recently. I've actually done like 3 or 4 at this point. So just really, really fun way to just participate in a swap. Let's see, I'm trying to find a little piece of scrap because I want to do the little pocket, right? So my little pocket is going to go like this. But again, keeping in mind that I'm going to leave that little space for the binding. And I'm just looking for that scrap piece of paper I had with the red. What did I do with it? Oh, I just dropped it. Alright, little paper, where did you go? Do you guys talk to your papers as well? I did a video yesterday and I felt like I was talking to my papers the whole time because I was trying to find what I did with them. You know what I'm going to do on this one? I think I'm going to kind of layer the papers. How about that? Let's see. Can I do that? Only because I'm trying to use up my scraps. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So let's do this. So I'm just going to put a little piece of paper there. Oh, look at this. I didn't even realize that I have 2 reds. And then remember, I'm going to be putting a little piece of paper with its sentiment on here. So you won't even see that little border or that divide in the paper. Okay, so let's just ink this up. And now we're just going to adhere it to the little pocket. Are you guys talking about what die cutting machines are the best ones? And you see, I'm just going to do that little tab again, like that. Super simple. And let's go ahead and adhere this on the back. Okay. So there. So now we have a pocket, right? And again, keeping the space available for your binding. And then I just pre-cut a piece of paper that'll fit in here. I had these randomly sitting around, so I put it here. And one of the things I do, for example, let's say this is the paper that I have. I want to put a little tab so you can pull it out. Just cut a little circle. And you don't have to do a full circle if you don't want. You can do a half circle, and I just glue it on there so that you're able to easily open it up. And you guys know I love my 450, so let's just use a little bit of 450 because it goes a long way, and again, it dries really quick. So I'm just going to put it back in here like this, and I find the easiest way is just to match the circle. So just like that. So you see now I have this little tab that I don't think it's, oh look, you see how it's already kind of glued and it holds on. So I'll just push it back and we'll wait for that one to dry. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and work on our sentiment. That's probably the easiest part of this. And I'll use this piece of paper here. And let's see, I'm going to be using just one of the sentiments from, I think from my Grudgy Inspiration stamp set. Yeah, the Experience. So we'll use this one. And let me see, what did I do with my little block? Okay, this one works perfectly. So I'm just going to put this back here like that. And I'm just going to wipe this with my embossing buddy because I want to make sure that there's no static on the paper when I emboss. Just makes it easier to emboss. And I'm using this Versamark ink. It's by same people that make Memento ink, so I love them. They have really good products. So I'm just gonna ink. And I don't know if I told you guys this, but the way that my stamp sets are made is that they're thicker than your normal stamp set. So even if you like literally dunk all the way to the end and get ink everywhere, once you press it onto your paper, you're not gonna get that funky border that most folks get when they use inks. At least I haven't had that experience, and I am very hard on pressing with the stamps when I do it because I want to make sure that it goes on there perfectly. But I didn't want you to get those funky borders, so that was why I made them thicker than most other stamps, so you can get that really good impression without worrying about getting those ugly black marks that everyone gets. So I'm gonna use, let's use gold, black. Let's use black because I did gold for the other one. So I'm just going to put some embossing powder on here like this. Where can you get the stamp sets? Oh, let me just put, where's my mouse? Just ran away. Um, open a new tab. It's so funny because the reason why I said that I'm gonna kind of rush, not stay on too long, is because I have to go to the post office and drop off everybody's stamps that ordered last night. So, oh yeah, that's the link, and then this is where's the link? This is the link to the online store, and I have a bunch of videos if you guys just want to see how I use them, and just a lot of fun ways to use them. So there goes that, and then we're just gonna go like this, right? I just pushed it down, and look, I didn't do any flickering, any of that fancy stuff that we do when we're embossing, and it's already perfect, right? And that's because one, we don't have that issue with the black marks around the stamps, and two, because I used my embossing buddy. So if you want to just make sure that you don't have any little flickers, you just kind of flick the paper, and you'll see nothing comes off. It's perfect. So when embossing, it's really important to have really good stamp, and also to have um, a stamp buddy and a really good embossing, a watermark stamp pad. So I'm just going to go ahead and emboss it now with my heat tool. Okay, so there I embossed it. And I don't know if I told you guys, but I probably did already. One of the fun features of this stamp set is that there's a lot of texture inside of the letters. So when you emboss it, what's really cool is that you can feel the texture. So I love that. That was another thing that I kept in mind, because I wanted you to have really versatile stamps and be able to use them for just a bunch of different things. And I just dropped my embossing pad on the floor. That's okay, I'll pick it up. So we'll just go ahead and we'll cut this off. And I don't tend to use my paper trimmer a lot, only when I really, really have to. So there goes the sentiment. And I just figured, this is a travel journey, and travel mini album, and I didn't want it to be so obvious about travel. So I figured that traveling is an experience, so the sentiment I wanted to put it on was experience. So we'll put this here, and then I'm just going to use my, yeah, embossing buddy is a must-have, especially if you're not big into embossing, but you really should, because embossing is amazing. I love it because it's waterproof, you know, you don't ever have any of those issues. Um, and it's my new addiction, especially now that Lindy's Stamp Gang has the absolutely most beautiful two-toned embossing powders, and I love using them, and they work really well with my stamps. I use it all the time. So when in doubt, I emboss it because it just looks nicer. Oh, you do? Yeah, you can't emboss without it. It's once you have it, you know that you have to use it. So there we go. You see? So now we have this back page. Again, really simple, but you have this little pocket in here, which is fun and whimsical because you have the little the envelope. You have this really simple sentiment that kind of captures the thought of the mini. And then what's driving me crazy is that I can't find those seashells, because I don't know if you guys saw, but I put these really fun seashells on here, and I have another bag of them, but these are kind of big. But you know what? I'm gonna work with them because it is a kind of yachty kind of theme. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these, but mainly because I want you guys to see how really awesome this product works. The Helmar Zap Dots. I'm sorry, the Scrap Dots. This is such a cool product for adding dimension to your projects, but I find that when I'm using something that is kind of, it doesn't have like a flat surface and it's a natural product like this, like these shells, the only way that I can put it on there is with my scrap dots. So we'll just put, we won't put as many with this one, but we'll put a few of them so that kind of looks cute. Let's see what we can do with this. I really wish I had that bag of little mini ones. They were so cute. But this will work too. Let's see if there's a different kind in here that I can use. Let's try this one instead. Jess, I have this, but don't really know if I'm using it correctly. Can't get the dimensional effect. You're probably pressing too hard on it, is what I'm thinking. Let me show you. So you see, basically this is a liquid dimensional, right? And what I do is I just put a big old glob. And what I love about this is that because it is liquid, you can move stuff around. Pressing too hard makes it flatten out. Yeah, you don't want to press it. But I do, when I'm doing this, using it for this purpose, I actually do press hard because I want to make sure that my shell goes in there. But you see, because it is that type, if I wanted to put it up, I hope you guys can see that. You see how I kind of angled it? If I want the shell to stand up like that, this dimensional product will allow me to do that. In this case, I don't want it to do that, but if I wanted to, it works perfectly for that. So I'm just kind of pressing them in here. And this is one of those things where if you put it on here and you don't like it because it has a little bit of drying time, you can move it around. So, but you can move it around, but it's not falling off. So you see, I put it on there and I'm shaking it just so you guys can see. I am really shaking this. This is not coming off. And it's totally wet still, like completely wet, and it's not moving anywhere. So you have a lot of flexibility with this product. I love that. And I'm one of those scrappers that I don't really sit down and scrap with a project in mind. I kind of just come to my room and see what kind of chaos I have going on, and I just play with it. And this is good so you can move stuff around within your project. And if you decide you want to just wipe it off, I'm not going to do it now, but I can literally just take it off, wipe it off, and it'll dry clear. So really fun. Oh, did you, Annie? Awesome. Let me see if I actually have some time to get it out to you today. If not, I'll definitely get out to you for Monday because I have to obviously do the packaging and stuff. But yeah, I hope you love it. It's a really fun stamp set. And like I said, when I came out with it, I just wanted something that was fun and inspirational that you could just use for anything. Just to send one of your friends an inspiring thought, leave a little card on your kids' you know, bedside when they're having, a hard test one day. Like I made this card yesterday just playing around with some scraps, and all I did was I put the sentiment smile on there. And I thought this was one of those that, because of the colors I used, you could use this for a baby shower even with smile. Smile and then congratulations. So just fun. Fun, quick card you can make. So there goes this part, right? So now we're going to flip it around. Let's see what I did with this thing. Okay, so you see, this is the accordion pockets, and I went ahead and dried it, and you see the pockets are in here now. Just to save time, I'm not going to go ahead and put all of the little papers in here, but you see, all you do is you put a little paper inside like that, assuming that it's the right size. Let's see. And there are just pockets, and then like I did on the front where I just cut a little circle and put it on the tab, that's all you have to do. Just put a little circle on it, and then it'll allow you to open them up like this, right? So now we'll turn it around, and all I did for this was I grabbed a piece. Yes, I will absolutely leave it up here for a while. And if you guys want, I may even do just a little YouTube video just on this particular technique so you guys can see it. But remind me if I forget. For this particular thing, I love using organza. It's a very thin and translucent and shimmery ribbon, and it's very flexible. Like if you want to grunge it up and just, there's actually a lot of stuff you can do with this, and I'll show you guys some more stuff soon. But all you do is just cut a piece of ribbon, and I'll cut, let's see, I think that should be good enough, like that. And we're going to go ahead and use our Helmar 450 for this. And rather than put it on the ribbon, all I do is I lay the ribbon in the middle, and I put the 450 on the back of this. So on the back of my little accordion pocket. And this is because it's a little heavy. I really like using the 450 because it'll hold it down really well. And then let me just make sure I did this correctly. Okay, so remember, you want to leave the space for folks to be able to bind their mini. So we're going to put it all the way to the far Right. So now you see I have about 3/4 of an inch on the left side, so folks can, when they get their mini album, they'll be able to do it. And all I do is I literally just tie a little simple knot. You can do a bow if you like. Because the organza is very loose, this ribbon will open up really quick. So it's perfectly fine to do just a knot like that. Oh, thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Annie. Again, I'm a learner just like you guys, and I'm constantly watching YouTubes and constantly playing with my crafts. So when I come up with things and I think they're fun, I definitely want to share them. So this was one of those things that everyone's been asking me, can you show us a really fun and quick way to make pockets for a mini page if we were in a swap? And this is perfect because again, it's a simple accordion. There's a lot of real estate to put stuff on here. The front, you can decorate it or embellish it as much as you want. I mean, if you wanted to change it, and this is another project that I made, if you wanted to do something like this instead, and kind of if it was your friend's birthday or it was a special themed project, you can always put the name of the person here, right? And then have these little pockets be a picture of your daughter, have a flower or something that she loves, a picture of a teddy bear, tennis if that's her thing. You can put some journaling here if you want to do some journaling there. So a lot of ways that you can incorporate different elements and personalize this and still get, the same effect. So it's kind of just a layout. Same thing on the back. And then just coordinate it as much as you like. So you saw it kind of went pretty quickly. We kind of went under an hour, and I was just walking you through all the steps. So once you're doing it, you just cut everything in advance, and it's super simple to do. Again, if you guys don't have Helmer scrap dots, you need to get them because look, how amazing is it that you can put these super dimensional products on here and they won't fall off. Like literally, it's not dry at all. If I wanted to, let me just to show you, I can take this off and put it back on, and it's not going anywhere. Look, it's crazy. It's like super amazing product. I haven't used it a lot in my shows recently because I love it so much that I use it. I don't want to overuse it, it's like I want to save it. Yeah, Helmer scrap dots are the absolute best product. Well, all of them are, but again, they serve different purposes. So sometimes, you try to figure out, is there one glue out there that's like this say-all master glue that you can use for everything? They're not. Every glue has a purpose, and you know what? It works perfectly. Acid-free glue to glue down your bases. This, if there's anything that has any kind of weight and you want to make sure it dries quickly. And this, for dimension or even for gluing things that you want to be able to move around and have some flexibility and some dimension without having too much. Yeah, they say they have it at Hobby Lobby. I know that YourMemoriesHere.com also carries it. Scraptastic.com carries it. So just a lot of people that are carrying it. A lot of folks have been asking me, Jess, are you going to be carrying Helmers? I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided yet. I just kind of want to focus on what what I love. I love the stamping, and I want to be able to really be able to share a lot of versatile stamp sets with you. But I also love Helmer, and I know it's hard for folks to find it. So if I can incorporate that, so when you guys, order your stamps, you can get Helmer as well. It's on my list of things to do. So maybe one day I'll be offering Helmer as well. You never know. So let me switch over to my regular camera, and I'll watch the Ustream, the chat to see if you guys have any questions for me. But I hope you guys learned just a fun way to play with mini albums, because I know some folks also are kind of scared of doing minis. They're like, sometimes they're too hard, and I do things and I don't like how it comes out. And that was kind of my thing too in the beginning. I made a lot of minis, and I either loved it or I hated it. But if you do something like this, where it's really simple and it's kind of repetitive, it's a good start. It really is a good start. And then I may even do one of these where I like over embellish it so you guys can see how you can really make this simple layout really fun. Yes, perfect for new mothers. Perfect. So imagine having these little flip down accordion thingies with just photos of all your kids like through the years. So like at birth, first, second, and third. So it could perfectly be a birthday mini album, a perfect gift for a birthday party. I have a birthday party to go to tomorrow, and this is exactly what I'm making him. I'm making him a cute little 4x4 mini album, and I'm gonna put happy birthday on the front with his name. His name is Jacob. He's such a sweetie. So I'll probably do something that looks something like this with Jacob. And then his theme is dinosaurs and trains. So I'll find some fun dinosaur and train themes, some blue polka dots or something like that. And then inside just have, you know, first, second, third, and fourth pages. Does it take? No, it doesn't clog up. It doesn't. What I find sometimes is that it'll bubble on me, but what I do is I just squeeze out the air. All you want to do is squeeze out the air because sometimes there's you leave like a pocket of air inside, and that makes it kind of bubble. But no, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen to me. You see, I don't have that issue. But again, it's because I always make sure that I squeeze out the air. And I know that there's other products that you can use for like, because you know you can use a 450 for fabric as well. But they don't have a twist top, and the twist top is awesome. I think like Fabric Tech has just that little red thing you put on top, and then if it oozes, the whole top oozes out. It goes everywhere. With this, it's not oozing anywhere. It's literally a twist top, and it's staying there. So if you guys like doing a lot of fabric projects like my daughter does, she's like a super tie-dyer. She makes a shirt like every day for school. I keep telling her she needs to start a blog. Because I don't know if you guys know, but Lindy's Stamp Gang, their Moonshadow Mists are dye-based, and they work perfectly for tie-dyeing. So I want her to do some videos so, you know, she can show her friends how to make shirts because they're always coming to my house to make shirts. So who knows, maybe she'll be doing some shows soon too. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so folks that are watching it can, you know, not have to watch the whole thing. But I'll stay on the chat for a few minutes, and then I'll have to head to the post office to get some stamps out. So thanks for watching, guys. And as always, if you have any questions, just send me an email at info@kinderstampo.com, or you can always send me a note on my Facebook page.